Drums, please!
Sammy, thank you so much for coming in today. Now, how did this all start for a young Montreal boy? Did you have a desire to be in comedy, or were you, hey, I could do this?
I knew, I think when I was 8, right when I was a kid, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I remember watching Eddie Murphy Delirious for the first time. That was my big experience, and I remember laughing so uncontrollably and saying, okay, that's it. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I knew as soon as I was 8, that's it, and I was chasing that ever since.
Now, about your humor, what do you think that really people are drawn to?
I think people are really drawn to my honesty and my ability to not see a line. You know, people will say you crossed the line. Well, I always say, well, I don't really see one, so I don't know if I'm crossing it. I think they like that, you know, the fact that I don't really think about what I'm saying, I just go for it.
Yeah, I noticed that in some of your acts where I'm like, ooh, he's pushed that. So is there a limit, though, that you do have? There are certain things that you just would not cross?
I don't. That's what's scary, I think, sometimes. Yeah, because that's also, you know, a characteristic of serial killers and, you know.
Well, there you have it, everybody.
And to be honest, I mean, I just don't see myself working that way, you know.
Do you believe that performing in 4 different languages has given you the edge over other comedians?
I don't know if it's given me the edge. I never do it consciously to go, okay, well, I'm going to perform in 4 languages just so I can be different from everybody else. It's just given me something more to look forward to and something more to develop and be excited about.
Yeah, besides the audience, what keeps you going?
You know, I breathe what I do, so I really love being involved in every aspect. So pretty much it's a 24-hour-a-day job in my mind, you know?
How do you handle criticism when it comes? Do you take it out on someone, or do you write a journal to yourself?
I don't know. I mean, usually if I do get a little bit of criticism, I'll take it and I'll listen to it constructively and try and see if I can change certain things. I'm always trying to get better anyways.
So what's the last criticism you received?
I think, I mean, I get this a couple times. Someone said I was a bit vulgar, so.
Okay.
And I understand that, you know, I understand that criticism, although I don't notice it when I do it, so I pretty much forget about it, you know, and I laugh and I smile and put it away.
Some people think that you're a second coming of Russell Peters. How do you respond or handle to those type of comments?
I mean, I understand what they're saying. Indian comedians are so new that, you know, when the first one comes out, everybody's looking at, well, who the second one is. So you're always going to get compared to the first one when you're the second. I mean, and I think over time, those comparisons get ironed out. I'll take it as a compliment. I mean, I just, you know, to be compared to one of the biggest comedians in the world right now is not the worst thing in the world.
I know in the past you've opened up for Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was great. The best experience of my life at that point, and definitely gave me a stamp in my career as to, you know, people going, okay, well, noticing who I am and having people see me as a professional.
How did it all start, though? Like, how did that come about where, hey, you're opening up for Dave Chappelle?
That all happened behind the scenes. It was, they called me a few days before and they said, what are you doing next Tuesday? I said, well, I have nothing planned yet. And they said, well, you can open for Dave Chappelle if you want. Yeah. Boom, you know, 6,000 people in Toronto. It was probably the most nervous I've ever been before a show and the happiest I've ever been after. I mean, it just gave me that confidence to go further. You know, he pulled me aside after the show, ripped up my check and doubled my pay. He said, look, I loved what you did, blah, blah, blah. And that gave me the confidence to just keep going and go, okay, well, this must mean something. And then my career snowballed from there on.
How far into your career were you when that happened?
This was about 3 years ago. And the last 5 is where it took off. So it was 2 years into, you know, doing Just for Laughs for the last couple of years, being noticed by agents and managers in the industry, and then having that gig just snowball onto another level, you know? It just flew from there.
So you know how, you know, you got your singers. They're naturally born with this beautiful voice. Do you think a comedian is the same way, where they're naturally born with this gift of
I think it definitely, it needs to be nurtured, you know? Yeah. I grew up in a home where everyone was, you know, always joking around and playing pranks.
Yeah.
And having that environment and that environment being nurtured, you're always going to be that way. So it made me just be that way in general, you know? And people just said, well, you're always laughing and smiling. I said, yeah, you know, but it's just the way I grew up, you know?
What's next for you?
Well, I'm in the middle of a Canadian tour now, a big theater tour, which is, you know, the next level. And then from there, you know, we're looking at all kinds of TV and film projects, which is going to be fun as well.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you. Wonderful.